Um, I
Thanks
thought
for
I'd just go over what we did last week and just build on it a little bit because I know arachnoiditis is, a more specialized type of condition or complaint or, problem. But chronic pain is a bit universal no matter what where it comes from or how you get it. So chronic pain is the ongoing or long-term pain that's different from acute. Acute is when it comes and goes, like you've got an event happens and you have acute pain and you recover from it within a relatively short space of time. Chronic pain, as we know, just is ongoing and persistent and just carries on. And the way I like to think of it, it becomes its own form of trauma because it's a bit traumatic to live with ongoing pain. Sounds pretty obvious thing to say, but I think it needs to be said. It's its own form of trauma. So we should treat it, with respect in some ways, not just to dismiss it. But the first one, as we talked about, just as a recap from last week, is called the Splinter effect. And this is actually the body's ancient protection. When the body detects persistent pain, it interprets this as a potential bone fracture that could potentially sever an artery or damage an organ, and therefore it is a life-threatening emergency. So the splintering response, as we call it, is where the surrounding muscles cramp up tightly, creating a natural splint to protect what the brain perceives as a broken bone. Now, this in turn restricts blood flow. And the blood flow itself, if it carries on, if the blood flow is restricted, then that reduces the oxygen going to the muscle tissues, which damage the muscle tissue and creates more pain, particularly when the cramping wants to finish or stop. The blood goes back into the muscles and starts clearing the lactic acid that's built up as a result of metabolic processes working in a deoxygenated environment or outside of an oxygen environment. And that creates more pain, which again is interpreted by the brain as a damaged bone. The muscle starts splintering, the muscle starts cramping, and you have the same cycle going on over and over again. So when we relax, we've got to be able to cope with the pain that's associated with blood returning to the muscles, to the muscle tissue. Aerobic and anaerobic, that's the word. Anaerobic is when you have an oxygen deficient blood flow going into the muscles. Yeah. So we've got to be, when we start relaxing, we can sort of anticipate that pain will come up because as the muscle relaxes, blood flow comes in and then the lactic acid is removed, which is painful. So what that tells me is that you've got to do your relaxation probably little and often rather than a lot once in a while. You've actually got to do it little manageable chunks to allow the muscle tissue to recover and just get used to the extra blood flow. So like if a normal person or a non-damaged person could have a regime of say once a day or every other day, for say an hour or something, I don't know, but that would probably be torture for someone like you. Like for people like you, that might be protracted torture, but you might be able to manage 5 minutes and then stop. Then do another hour maybe and do another relax. And after 5 minutes, that might be enough. So you do it in manageable chunks. that's just one thing to be aware of. So you don't have to panic when you have lots of pain, or even just to be aware that pain's going to come up is somehow reassuring because you know it's coming up, but you just want to say, okay, look, I can manage this, but no more, and sort of be kind to yourself. Um,
Oh,
Sometimes what we used to do is give people heat packs to help to sort of dissipate the pain as it comes up. Particularly in winter, it's quite good just to have a heat pack. So as you relax, anticipate that you're going to get some pain in particular areas of your body, and then you put that heat pack on as the pain comes up. It just allows you to cope with the pain a little bit until you finish your relax. So that's one way we cope with recovery when we have the splintering effect. The other one is the pain cascade effect. Now, what that is, when you have a muscle group that is in pain, it will trigger other muscles to go into a pain response, partly because our neurology works out that we have bifurcation every time a signal goes down a set of nerves. Sometimes they hit nodules, and they are like junction points. A road, you have a road
yeah,
and it can divide. The pain cascade works together with the splintering effect and inflammation to create an exponentially worse situation, each mechanism amplifying the other. So how do we get around that? Is the other thing that we have with chronic pain is that with the fight, fright, freeze response, on the end of the freeze or fawn effect, when we go into shutdown, when you actually engage in fighting or running away, it anticipates that you're going to be physically damaged. So it sends out cortisol. The conclusion to all this is that we need to address inflammation. And one of the simplest ones is to do earthing. As it happens, take your shoes and take your socks off, shoes and socks off, and just walk on the ground, or just put your walk on the lawn or something, some grass, or it looks a bit strange, but we have beaches and things like that. So to be fair, we've got a lot of natural environment that we can escape to, as it were. Having said that, you can buy products like earthing sheets, earthing pillows, earthing mats.
Join Scott's private group within the ACMCRN community for exclusive discussions, personal support, and to share your experiences in a safe space.